actually going to be recording on on 3 platforms, and it's just so my luck that the air conditioner next to your doors just started, but hopefully you can all hear me. And the Yeah, just started, literally just now. Hello, Joellen. Hi. So I am doing a triple broadcast on Facebook Live, Instagram Live, and I'm also recording to post on my YouTube channel. And the reason why I'm doing this is because it's a very, very special day. It is the birthday of someone who I hold very, very dear to my heart. So I'm going to wait a few moments. I'm going to do a very quick little presentation. I know there's some festivities going on a few of the websites. There's going to be some other stuff I'm going to announce as well, which is exciting. And as I mentioned, the air conditioner just went off next door. So we'll just wait a moment. Hello, Joanne. Hi. Thanks for joining. Thank you. So again, this is the very first time I've ever done 3 different all at the same time, simultaneous. Okay, I hope everyone's doing well today. I'm live from Toronto, Canada. It is overcast. I think it's been kind of raining off and on today. I am actually outside. I like to be outside, and I'm surrounded by sunflowers, so I will show you those in a moment. But in the meantime, we're just gonna get let's wait a little bit, see if a few more people join us for this very special day. Today is September the 7th. If you are on the other side of the world, it is going to be September the 8th. But September the 7th is an important day because it is a birthday of someone who is very, very dear to me and to many, many Jamaicans around the world, Caribbean people around the world. If you love reggae music, this should be an important day for you too. If you love dancehall, this should be an important day for you too as well. Also, all the reggae lovers, all the dancehall lovers, all the people who love Jamaican culture and music, this should be a special day for you too. All right, so I think we'll get started since we've been recording for a little bit. I'm going to start with a welcome song, so here we go. This long time, yeah, me never see you. Come make me hold your hand. This long time, yeah, me never see you. Come make me hold your hand. Heel head John, cross it up and treat up, pick off the blossom. Make me hold your hand, girl. Let me hold your hand. This long time, boy, me never see you. Come make me hold your hand. This long time, boy, me never see you. Come make me hold your hand. Heel head Jonko. Now, you're probably wondering what a Jonko is. So a Jonko is a type of bird that lives in Jamaica. We actually have them in other places in the world, but it's called a vulture. So a vulture is a bird of prey. So heel head Jonko, sit up and treat up, pick off the blossom. Make me hold your hand, boy. Make me hold your hand, girl. So glad to see everybody to celebrate a very important day. All right, so today is an important day because we are celebrating the 100, or what would have been the 101st birthday of Louise Bennett Coverley, also known as Miss Lou. Miss Lou. And this day is so important because I consider Miss Lou a mentor from afar. I've never met Miss Lou, but I feel like as soon as I learned about Miss Lou, I was about 10 years old. I learned about Miss Lou when I saw her in a library book. She had all these songs in this book called Mango Spice, and I really, really appreciated the fact that I heard for the first time my a Jamaican folk language, which is Patois, the spoken language, in song. And it meant so much to me, especially being a 10-year-old in Canada and being a black 10-year-old in Canada, Caribbean 10-year-old in Canada, Jamaican child of Jamaican immigrants. So this meant a lot to me culturally. And as I grew older, and I gradually, went to high school, university, all of that, anytime I could, I picked up little pieces about Miss Lou. And I just have learned so much about Miss Lou. There's still so much I still don't know yet. So I am looking forward so much to learning much more. But today, I'm going to share with you 7 fun facts, because today is September the 7th, right? So 7 facts about Miss Lou which you may never have learned before. And before I do that, I want to just share with you a poem by Louise Bennett Coverley. And this poem is one that I love to say. I'm learning some of her poetry, and this one is called Education Studeration. But before I do that, we're gonna drum up and see if there are more people are gonna join us. If you have heard of Miss Lou, please share one of your favorite memories, something that you know about her. While we are also waiting for more people to join us, this is my picture book. It's called A Little Miss Lou, How Jamaican Poet Louise Bennett Coverley Found Her Voice. Now this book, it took me 7 years to write. 7 years to write this book because I had to research it. And at the time when I researched the book, there was only one other published book about Miss Lou's life, like about the biographical information. And because Miss Lou passed away in 2006, this was, I had never met Miss Lou. Unfortunately, I've never met her, but interestingly enough, I sang with the Heritage Singers, which is a Caribbean folk choir, and they had performed with Miss Lou. In fact, Heritage Singers would be 43 years old this year. So they had performed in Miss Lou. They're based in Toronto, and I had a chance to sing with them for 2 years. I think the years I had sung with them were 2010 to 12. So I started singing with them 4 years after Miss Lou passed away. It was so close to the time when Miss Lou was alive. And I live in Toronto, Canada, and Miss Lou lived for 20 years in Toronto on the East End in Scarborough. And unfortunately, I just never met her. I didn't even know Miss Lou had lived here till many years later after her death. And I did not even know that I could have had the chance to possibly have met her because she continued to do performances and speaking and so forth. She had fans around the world, and she was well loved. She still loved her beloved Jamaica, but she also had fans here in Toronto, all over Canada, especially in the poetry and storytelling communities, and the Caribbean community, of course. So she was definitely somebody who I had looked up to. And if you get a copy of my book, which I highly recommend, these are some things that you might be interested in. Teachers, this is a guide for teachers. It has some great lesson ideas, some YouTube links as well, ways to engage this book in the classroom. And I actually wrote this guide. This was something that I was very, as a teacher as well, I got to work on. And also, if you go to my website, you can download this beautiful illustration. And actually, I did not illustrate the book. The book was illustrated by Eugenie Fernandez, but I actually did this illustration. So it's a way for you to celebrate and to remember Miss Lou. She's wearing the beautiful Jamaican traditional fabric, which I have on today. It's called bandana. It's a Madras fabric, and Madras is a city in India. It is now called Chennai, and this fabric actually came from there originally. And the cool thing about Miss Lou is that she took this fabric, and it was typically worn by the market women, the women that sold goods. These women were sometimes looked down upon because they weren't considered upper class, and they were called higlas, the higlas. So she wore this fabric in honor of these women, but also of the culture. Whenever Miss Lou performed, you'll see her wearing this fabric. In fact, you'll see it in this image where she's worn it in her head wrap. And you'll also see it in the final illustration in the book, and it's right here. You can see it there. All right. So I was at this time last year, I was in Jamaica, and I had to search far and wide for this fabric. So I actually bought this outfit. It comes with a skirt, and I had also bought a long, large piece of Madras fabric, Jamaican banana, so I could use it for different things. I often use it, sometimes I'll wrap my head with it, sometimes I'll use it as a tablecloth when I do my displays and that kind of thing. I also have a Miss Lou doll, and I'll share a photo of that at some in my post, because it's about a very special day today to celebrate the birthday of Miss Lou. So I've been saying quite a lot today. I'm going to start off with a poem. I actually started off with the welcome song, This Long Time Gal, which is one way that Miss Lou would welcome everybody here. And I'm going to start off with a poem by Miss Lou. It's called Education, Studeration by Louise Bennett Coverley. And this poem has a little story. I taught it to my grade 1 students when I was teaching at the Afrocentric Alternative School. It was the poem of the week, and 3 little girls in my class went home and memorized it in one day and came back to say it. And I said, okay, you need to say this on the morning announcements, which they did, and they delighted everybody because they had memorized this to a T. All right, so here we go. It's called Education, Studeration by Louise Bennett Coverley. Me fill up me purse with money, them thief it away from me. Me fill up me belly with food, and as me sneeze, me feel hungry. Me fill up me brain with learning, with sense and knowledge grand. Me feel relief, not a thief can thief me education. Child, if you have ambition, no matter if you're poor, nothing can keep you down now. It's free schooling galore. Take one step from Bram into the best school in the land. To qualify, turn bossify with education. Mas Joseph Tonfoot nephew, Jane Twistmount girl Ritty, Rata Data, study for university. Them countenance no handsome, them station no grand. Them clothes did wreck, but them brain can take an education. That's right. So all the children, all the adults, teachers, educators getting ready for school, this one's for you. Education is so key. I'm actually going back to school, believe it or not. I'm doing my Master's of Fine Arts in Creative Writing. It's been a dream for many years, so I'll be doing that. And I'll also be teaching a course for writing for children, for adults. So that is, education is key. It's really important. Typically, I'm usually with the younger kids, but this fall I'll be with the older kids. So hang in there. I know there are going to be lots of changes going on, but we're going to get through this. Okay? All right. So thank you so much for tuning in, but don't go disappear, because I promised you there are 7 facts that I'm going to share about Miss Lou, and hope maybe I'll type them out or I'll put them in the video or whatnot. I'm not sure how to do that on the Instagram or Facebook Live, but I will definitely try to figure it out how to do this for my YouTube channel. So first fact about Louise Bennett Coverley, Miss Lou. Miss Lou, she was she lived in 4 different countries. 4 countries. First of all, she was born in 1919. So you can imagine being a Jamaican-born black woman living in 4 different countries. So they were Jamaica, of course, that was where she was born. And then in her early 20s, she moved to England. She lived there for about 2 years. And then she moved back to Jamaica, and then because she got homesick. Then she moved to the US. She lived in Brooklyn. Then she moved back to Jamaica, I believe. And then she moved to Canada. apparently she may have lived in Miami for a little bit. I don't know too much about that chapter, but it's still the United States. So she lived in 4 countries: Jamaica, the UK, Canada, and the USA, of course. Okay, so that was fact number 1 for Miss Lou. Fact number 2 you may not have known: Miss Lou hosted a children's television show. Some people called it the Jamaican Sesame Street. The Jamaican Sesame Street is called Ring Ding, and it was a children's show. It came on every week, and on this show, Miss Lou would gather children together. You might actually find some archive photos of that for the Jamaican Broadcasting Corporation, that's JBC. She would host the show. It was supposed to be a short-term thing, and she fell in love with it so much. She actually was hosting the show for 12 years, 12 whole years. So she changed her plan. She had these kids eating out of the palm of her hand. They loved the show, what they learned. They were doing songs and poems and stories, showcasing their Jamaican culture, learning about it as well. So that's another fact about her. I do know of at least two people who were on the show as kids. If you are Canadian, you'll know about the Queen of Dancehall, or the Queen of Reggae, who's, I guess, Dancehall, or Queen of Rap. Michimi was on this show as a child. And also, if you know about the First Lady, her name was Miss Holness, Juliet Holness. She's also an MP for the riding where Gordon Town, which is Louise Bennett's home, I guess, town riding, her community or district, that is in the same area where Juliet Holness is the MP for Jamaica, but she's also the First Lady because she is married to the Prime Minister of Jamaica, who is Andrew Holness. So that was a lot there, but the fact was, fact number two is Miss Lou had a TV show called Ring Ding. And if you actually get my book, I actually mentioned Ring Ding in here. It's actually on one of the pages with all the fun words that Miss Lou loved. Number 3, what other fact do I have about Miss Lou? Well, I should mention, I didn't even write this down, but you know what? She was married to Eric Choctaw Coverley. Eric Choctaw Coverley was a draftsman, and he also had a show on TV, and he actually gave her her very first break, and they met when she was still in school, and it wasn't until many, many years later that they met again in Brooklyn, New York, where they were both trying to make a go at this theater thing and so forth, and then they fell in love and they got married years later. So that was, I think Miss Lou would have been in her early 30s at the time, and that was Eric Choctaw Coverley. So that was a fun fact I just stuck in there, and that's also, they both migrated to Canada and lived here for the last 20 years of their lives. And then number 3, I guess 3B is that Miss Lou had a lot of famous friends. She had a lot of famous friends, and in my research, I learned that she was friends with Pete Seeger. So if you are into folk music, you may recognize that name. Pete Seeger was an American folk musician, and he, hi, hi Stephanie. He popularized a few songs you might know, like "If I Had a Hammer, I Would Hammer in the Morning," and "This Land Is Your Land." So there are a bunch of songs that he popularized. So he was into American folk music, and similarly, Miss Lou was into Jamaican folk music, so they were friends. And also, I found out that she was friends with Dr. Maya Angelou, the poet. In fact, some people would call Miss Lou the Maya Angelou of Jamaica. And guess what? Maya Angelou knew Miss Lou, and in quite an interesting way. I found that in my research. So I don't have all of the details. I just know that fun fact that she had those two friends. I would also add Harry Belafonte. So she was friends with Harry Belafonte as well. And I don't know how far her friendship with Bob Marley was, but again, Bob Marley would have grown up and known about Miss Lou. And the reason why I said if you are into reggae and dancehall music, you would know about Miss Lou, or you actually have to thank Miss Lou, because she took the Jamaican patois, the spoken language, and brought it into a public sphere for the first time. And that is how we can have a Sean Paul, Shana Paul, and have almost all these pop songs that have a little reggae or dance hall or patois rap inside of it. And I could be in Dubai and Abu Dhabi and hear songs like that, and they have all these reggae artists coming up. And you can go to Africa and reggae can be popular. I could be in Sri Lanka climbing up to this like 2,000-year-old site, and someone could actually know a reggae song, and it may be a Bob Marley song, but it all comes back to Miss Lou. All right, so that was my 3B fact. Number 4, she was the first black student at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts, which is in London, England. And actually I went to England. This was in 2016 December. It was during the Christmas holidays, so everything was closed, but I actually went and took pictures. Because I thought it was exciting. Miss Lou was a student there in I believe the early 40s, and you just got to think about what's happening in that time. I think the war was going on, right? Because the war stopped the World War II stopped in 1945. So imagine being a black woman traveling to England and studying at this university or college and being the very first black person. It's quite a remarkable thing. So that was one thing. The other thing, she had 2 shows on BBC. And BBC, if you don't know, is the British Broadcasting Corporation. Is quite well known. They have international channels or whatnot. So they had something called the Caribbean Service, and she had 2 shows on this. And she helped to make a lot of Caribbean people who were living in England at the time or all over the world, because you have to understand that being of Caribbean Jamaican descent, we, like even my ancestors, my family members, they were all over. They were not just in Jamaica. They were working. They had been working in the Panama Canal. Some had migrated to the U.S. Some were in South America, Central America, all over Canada, and they really longed for home. So she had a nostalgic part to play in their lives. So that's another thing that was important about Miss Lou. Now, number 5, I said the British, yes, she was BBC. Let's see, number 6, some of you might know songs that she helped to popularize. So she actually, one of her jobs was to go around and collect songs. If you're into music education, Kodai did that for Hungarian folk songs. So she went around, she was hired to collect all these folk songs. So one of those songs was a little song that goes, Day-o, day-o, day the light and me want go home. Day-o, day-o, day the light and me want go home. Come, Miss Tallyman, tally me banana. Day the light and me want go home. Come, Miss Tallyman, tally me banana. Day the light and me want go home. Me come here for work, I will come here for idle. Day the light and me want go home. Me come here for work, me not come here for idle. Day the light and me want go home. Day, me say 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 day. Oh. Day the light and me want go home. So that's a song by, we know the song, we probably heard it in Beetlejuice, a movie that came out in the 80s, which was sung by Harry Belafonte. But like I said, Harry Belafonte got the song, the foundations for that song from Miss Lou. All right, so you have to understand how foundational she was to a lot of the songs we hear now. And I would like to think that Maya Angelou was influenced by her, because she also, Maya Angelou, you may or may not know, she was a singer and she performed as the Calypso Queen, I think. Maya Angelou is not Caribbean, but guess who is? So she performed in this persona. So you have to understand that's part of Miss Lou's influence too. And I think the other thing I'd like to mention as well is that number 7, Miss Lou was an author, and she had authored many books. She wrote her first poem at the age of 12 or 13. And again, if you get my book, A Little Miss Lou, you'll find excerpts from that original poem. Okay, so I will not read it here, but I will encourage you to go to my website, www.nadialhohn.com/books, and then you will find the link to get A Little Miss Lou, or you can go straight to the Owl Kids website, and the website is www.owlkidsbooks.com, and you can order a copy of this book and you can read it to your heart's delight. And the cool thing is, it's a fun picture book, if I do say so myself. In the last part, there is an afterword which I wrote, and you can learn about how I came to know about Miss Lou, as well as a glossary for words. Okay, so this is a great collection. So all those 7 fun facts about Louise Bennett Coverley, I will post either on my right below description. I will try to post it on this YouTube, and I just lost my Facebook Live. I ran out of juice, so I will try to post it on Facebook, because these are the things that I think are important to know. But also, I just found out some great news today. Last year I mentioned I was in Jamaica at this time. I went with 50 other people of Jamaican descent who are from Jamaica or whatnot, but live in Canada. We were a part of a delegation from the Jamaican Canadian Association, and we went to represent Canada at the unveiling of the Miss Lou Square. The statue that was built in her honor, it was unveiled in 2018 on her anniversary, and then the whole square, which is located in Gordontown, which is just outside of Kingston, way in the hills. So that's where I was this time last year, and it was such a wonderful occasion. There was a lot of tributes to Miss Lou, and it was very exciting. But the great news that I found out today, there was news of an anthology. They were working on it, getting 100-voice anthology celebrating 100 years of Miss Lou, and it's taken a bit of time, but I'm so excited to find out that it is in this anthology is I saw the table of contents, the 100 voices. It's coming. There will be 100-voice anthology, 100 voices for Miss Lou. And I will have to say I'm completely honored that my story, I had written a story, it's called Louise Go Country. It's going to be part of this anthology, and I saw other names like Lillian Allen and Kwame Dawes, and I saw, oh gosh, Clive Walker. Is it Clive Walker? I just saw all these names, and the book is being put together by boy, Opal. I'm so sorry. I don't want to misquote the name. I will get the name properly. But I do want to say that this is being put together and published by the West Indies Press, University of West Indies Press. So as soon as I get all the info, I'll let you know. Thank you so much for tuning in. And it is getting a little dim out here. I am outside, but I promised 2 things. I'll read the first page of my book, A Little Miss Lou, How Jamaican Poet Louise Bennett Coverley Found Her Voice. And then I promised I was going to show you some sunflowers, so I will do that, because I picked some gorgeous sunflowers this weekend. Louise Bennett loved words. She played with them. She ate them up for breakfast, served with roasted breadfruit, ackee, and saltfish. She swallowed each word whole. When it came to speaking, Louise's words got stuck in her throat. But she found a way to unlock them. Her pen was the key, and her notebook the door. Alright, so if you'd like to find out more about this tale, please check out A Little Miss Lou, How Jamaican Poet Louise Bennett Coverley Found Her Voice. And also, I promised I was going to show you my sunflowers. I just went crazy. I went to this farm on the weekend with all these sunflowers, so I'm just gonna bring over my I made 3 bouquets of sunflowers, so just to show you. And I love sunflowers, they're my favorite flower. But I noticed something you may have noticed about sunflowers. And what do you notice? Sunflowers are special. They are the color of the Jamaican flag. Well, at least most species are there. I also learned that there are very many varieties of sunflowers. So sunflowers are a combination of a golden yellow, green, and a dark center. And just like the Jamaican flag, we have the yellow and dark center. And of course I have this beautiful one that is a sunflower nonetheless, but is like a deep mauve. Isn't that pretty? See that there? All right. So that's just one of my sunflower bouquets. I'm going to show you another one. Now this one is just going to show it to you, and it is their bouquet. You're going to be so careful because I've actually tipped one of them and lost a lot of water. And you can see the beauty of these. They're so lush. They are a bit heavy. I think their stems are starting to wilt a little bit, but you could see, and as you can see, I've lost some petals. They're still gorgeous, aren't they? All right, and then I have one more bouquet. I'm going to show you. It's kind of like the big granddaddy of all of the bouquets. So let me just move this over and I'm going to show it to you. It's quite actually remarkable. Okay. It takes 2 hands and a lot of some balance here because it's such a big one. Look at that. It's bigger than my head. So this one, and you can see the petals are starting to go. I actually felt a little guilty taking it because the bees loved it, but I also realized it was so tall and a lot of them were gone. People were taking them. So I said, you know what? I love sunflowers, so there's somewhere you can take a look. Alright, so on that note, I'm going to stop right there. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to sing a goodbye song to you, which is a Jamaican goodbye song. It is called, let's see, it goes like this. Some of you might know it. Anytime remember Miss Lou, what a come on me eye. Anytime you mind run pon Miss Lou, what a come on me eye. Come back Miss Lou, come back girl, what a come on me eye. Come back Liza, come back girl, what a come on me eye. I don't want to end on that sad note because we're gonna sing happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday, Miss Lou, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, Miss Lou, happy birthday. Thanks for tuning in. Have a wonderful day, and please check out LIKKLE Miss Lou, how Jamaican poet Louise Bennett Coverley found her voice. It's the 2nd book about Miss Lou's life. The other book you might want to check out is by Mervyn Morris. That's for adults. It's about the Miss Lou's life. And of course, there's the anthology that's coming up with 100 voices for Miss Lou. Stay tuned for that. And I believe there are others in the works. But let's support our culture. Let's support the work of Miss Lou, and please do not forget our sheroes who've contributed so much to history and culture like Louise Bennett Coverley did. All right, thank you so much for joining in. Bye-bye.